Hey guys, I'm going to do a video that's a little bit different for me. It's going to be kind of in the vein of when I let you guys know how to be able to tell if your computer was going to be able to run Fallout 4, but this is going to be for seeing if your computer is able to run VR, virtual reality. So, as we know, VR is kind of a big thing in the future of gaming. Probably. It's probably going to be a big thing. Maybe it could just end up to be a gimmick, but it's really important before you go out and you pre-order your HTC Vive or your Oculus Rift, which costs like $800, to know if your PC can actually run VR. Luckily for us, though, just within maybe a week or so, I may be a bit late to this, but within the last week or so, Steam has actually released a really easy way to benchmark your PC and see if you can run VR. So really quickly, I'm just going to show you guys where to get it, and then I'll also run through it with you guys. It'll be my first time running through it. We'll see if my PC can run VR, which obviously it's going to be able to, and so that way we can kind of just go through the process together. So first thing you're going to do, you're just going to open up your Steam, and you're going to go in this little search bar. You're just going to type in Steam VR. That's going to pop up the Steam VR performance test, and then right here, it's completely free. You'll be able to download it. It shouldn't take you too long. I don't really remember how large it is. Apparently it's like 2 gigabytes. I downloaded it really fast because, you know, I have around 12 megabytes per second download speed, so, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take for you, but this is definitely important to take the time to download it, just because you don't want to spend $800 on an HTC Vive and end up not being able to run it, because I will let you know, spoiler alert right now, most people do fail this test because you do have to have a pretty beastly rig. You need to be able to run the game at high frame rates, so usually at least 90 frames per second, and also in a pretty high resolution as well. I'm not sure the exact specs of what the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift have for resolutions, but I'm pretty sure that it's pretty high, since it's going to be really close to your face, and obviously they don't want you to see the pixels and stuff like that. So I'm gonna boot this up for the first time, and we'll kind of go through it together, okay? Alright, so I actually wasn't expecting it to open in like another window. I was expecting it to, like, you know, open an entire screen, so it actually just pops up in a little teeny window. In case you can't find it, I actually was having some difficulty finding it. Make sure when you go to your library you don't click on games. You can click on tools and it should be there. I just clicked on installed, and I found it there in tools. So let's boot this thing up. You'll be able to choose, you know, play without uploading system report or play with uploading it. I'm just going to upload my results because why not? I also have the frame rate indicator in the top left. That's just something you can turn on in your Steam settings. So I don't think that this goes any larger. So apparently what this is going to do is it's going to run through the Portal test that if you strap on your VR, normally you'd be able to look around in this demo. Obviously we can't do that because I don't have an HTC Vive and I don't have a VR system. So what it does is it renders the image in both of the screens like it normally would. So it's still using around, you know, the same processing power. But what it's actually doing is it is going to move in different cameras. So right now, or different camera angles. So right now, you know, we have this angle. Then you can see right there, it just switched angles. So it's just going to do that, and it's still rendering it the same way that it would do if it was rendering it through the goggles. It's still the same process and everything like that, so it's giving you a realistic frame rate. You can see it right around, I'm right around like the 120 to 140 frames per second, which is completely fine. It's completely acceptable for VR. You want to have at least 90 frames per second for your VR. If you don't have at least 90 frames per second, then what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of motion sickness. And it doesn't matter if you are somebody who doesn't get motion sickness, like you play first-person shooters or something like that, and you don't get motion sickness, or, you know, you can read a book when you're in the car or whatever. That doesn't really matter. you have to have at least 90 frames per second when it comes to VR. So I'm just going to keep going through this, and then once I get the results, I'll come back and kind of share the results with you, because I don't think you want to sit here and just watch this. So I'll be right back when this is done and I get the results. Or actually, I can just get the results right now, so that completely works. So then it'll pop up the screen, and if you don't meet the requirements, it'll actually say results, and it'll give you some recommendations. So it'll say, you know, update your graphics card. Your graphics card needs a bit of an update, or it'll say, you know, update your processor or something like that. My build, you can kind of see right there, is obviously a bit overclock, a bit overkill, because I have a lot of stuff overclocked. So I do have a i7 4790K that's overclocked to, I believe, 4.5 gigahertz. I could be wrong. It's right around 4.5 gigahertz. I do have a 980 Ti. I only have one 980 Ti for my graphics card. I also have 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. I believe it's at 1866 megahertz, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I do know that I have 32 gigabytes of it. So you'll be able to click show details, and then it'll give you like a fidelity. So it'll let you know, if you're on low end, that means you meet the minimum requirements. But for some games, you should know that for some VR games, you may not be able to run it at the necessary frame rates. So I had no frames below 90 FPS, which is good. If that's, I'd say if that's above 10%, then you're gonna have an issue. Really, any percent you might have an issue, but if it's above 10%, then you're gonna have a serious issue when it comes to VR. And like I said, you'll probably get motion sickness. It looks like, though, that once it gives you the rating, I'm not sure how high this rating goes. I got 10.9. It might go up to 11. I'm not really sure what it goes up to. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys, kind of similar to when I told you, to see if you could run Fallout 4. Definitely do this if you're interested in looking at VR at all for your PC. If you end up not meeting the requirements and maybe you don't have the money to buy a new GPU or something like that, don't worry. If you do have a PS4, then Sony's, whatever it's called, I don't really know what it's called, but because I'm not so much of a console gamer, but Sony also is going to have a VR kit as well that I do believe comes out this year, and that obviously is just going to work with the PS4, so you won't have to go out and get a better graphics card or anything like that. So that's definitely still an option for you if you want to experience VR in gaming. Or you could pick up the $5 Google Cardboard, which you strap your phone in there and it works just fine. Whatever works for you. But hopefully that helped you guys. Sorry I'm a little late on this video, but have a great rest of your day, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.